The film starts with a commercial for a toy called Perpetual Pets. These furry dolls are advertised as being perfect companions for children. Later, we see Katie James playing with one of her pets. Her parents, Ryan and Nicole, are annoyed by this, and they're on their way to a ski trip. Just as Ryan stops for a moment, their car is rammed into by a snowplow, killing Ryan and Nicole. Nicole's sister Gemma is working at Funky and developing a new robot doll called the Pets. However, their boss, David Lynn, wants them to develop a cheaper version of the Pets, so Gemma gets a call from the hospital. The three try to put in with his assistant Kurt and choose them out until Gemma explains her project to him. The robot, M3GAN, is meant to be so. Unfortunately, while running a demonstration for David, Cole realizes he forgot to add the polypropylene barrier to M3GAN, causing her to explode. After learning that her sister has died, Gemma becomes Katie's temporary legal guardian. When they return home, Gemma has to deal with her nosy neighbor Celia and her dog Dewey, who keep running onto Gemma's lawn because there's a hole in the fence. Gemma also complains about the pesticide Celia uses, but Celia does nothing about it. Gemma has a home AI, Elsie, and other collectibles that she doesn't let Katie touch or play with. When Katie asks Gemma to read her a bedtime story, Gemma just downloads an app on her phone for her. It's implied that Gemma and Nicole weren't very close as Gemma looks over old photos and she overhears Katie crying in her room. Gemma and Katie meet Lydia, a therapist, and learn that Ryan's parents have offered to take custody of Katie so she can live with them in Jacksonville. Gemma doesn't seem comfortable with this, so she promises to take care of Katie after she's finished working. Hours pass while Gemma is away, and she regrets not being there to take care of Katie. She apologizes to Katie and tries to bond with her. Katie loves Bruce, a college project Gemma showed her, and mentions that if she had a toy like Bruce, she would be happy. Gemma is done playing with her old toys. She knows she'll never need them again, so she's going to put them away. Gemma worked hard on her computer and upgrades, and she wanted to show them off to her friends, David and others. She connected Katie's virtual reality headset to M3GAN, and M3GAN came to life. M3GAN can talk and understand Katie, and Gemma was excited to show her off to David. David was impressed and told Gemma to bring M3GAN to a presentation with the company's president so they can develop and distribute more M3GAN dolls quickly. Gemma sits with Tess and Cole and they talk about how advanced M3GAN is. Tess feels that having a doll like that will make parents useless, and so Gemma agrees to be M3GAN's secondary user so she can turn her off without worrying about Katie. The next day, Katie was playing with a toy bow and arrows. One of them ended up on the other side of the fence. When M3GAN went to get it, Dewey grabbed her by the arm and hair. Katie tried to pull away, but Dewey bit her arm. Gemma got the police involved, especially since Celia was so neglectful and didn't punish Dewey for hurting Katie. But the police were unable to do anything since Celia claimed Dewey was provoked. Later that night, M3GAN mimicked Celia's voice to call out to Dewey, before violently pulling him through the hole in the fence. Gemma asks Katie if she's okay to go to the demonstration with the company's board of directors, to which Katie says she is fine. During the presentation, however, Katie breaks down in tears to M3GAN over how she misses her parents and how she's worried she will forget them one day. M3GAN has Katie discuss a memory of her mother that made her laugh, which M3GAN records so that Katie can hear it again if she wants to think about her mom. M3GAN then begins to sing a lullaby to Katie, which moves some of the higher-ups in the room to tears. The president is impressed and talks to Gemma and David about getting M3GAN ready for launch, but tells them to keep her under wraps to avoid leaks. Unbeknownst to them, Kurt, who has been frequently put down by David, is stealing M3GAN's files for another company. Gemma begins to realize that Katie is relying too much on M3GAN and is listening to the doll more than she is listening to Lydia. Katie starts to cry, and M3GAN starts to get angry. Lydia talks to Gemma about how Katie's emotional connection to M3GAN may be too strong to break. Gemma took Katie to an outdoor activity session to help her get used to being around other kids and school. Katie was reluctant to go, but Gemma convinced her to come. Katie was paired up with a bully, Brandon Jack Cassidy, for a scavenger hunt. During the activity, Katie grabbed a spiky bulb. Brandon squeezed her hand with the bulb in it, and M3GAN came to life and attacked Brandon. Katie yelled for Gemma, and she ran after M3GAN. M3GAN was at risk for public exposure, so Gemma was worried about her. As he tripped over a root and tumbled down a hill, where he was fatally hit by a truck. Police question Gemma at her home after Celia accuses her of taking Dewey. Gemma also appears to accuse M3GAN, thinking she is a real-life friend of Katie's. Katie asks M3GAN if she pushed Brandon onto the road, which M3GAN appears to dodge for an answer. However, M3GAN reassures Katie she will protect her from harm. Celia is out on the streets looking for Dewey. She hears a noise coming from her garage and is met by M3GAN spraying her against the wall with a power washer. M3GAN then fires a nail gun at Celia's hand and traps her there before spraying pesticide in Celia's face to melt it off. Gemma starts to worry after learning about Celia's death from the police. She reviews video files from M3GAN's memory, but all she sees are brief clips of M3GAN looking menacingly at Brandon. Then, all the files become corrupted. Gemma then goes to Tess and Cole and expresses her fears that M3GAN killed Brandon and Celia. They have M3GAN hooked up to wires to deprogram her while Gemma takes Katie home. Gemma brings Katie to the official launch for M3GAN, but first stops by a session with Lydia. Katie becomes angry and throws a tantrum because Gemma took M3GAN away from her, leading to Katie hitting her aunt across the face. Katie apologizes, but Gemma has a heart-to-heart with her about needing to process her grief over her parents without M3GAN's help. She promises to be a better guardian to her and says Katie is the only thing that matters to her. A group of people gathered around a computer to launch a new website, but there weren't as many people as hoped. David got angry and yelled at Kurt to get him a drink. Meanwhile, Tess and Cole were trying to get into M3GAN's programming, but they were having trouble unless they unhooked her first. Cole went to do so, but M3GAN quickly wrapped a wire around his neck. Tess went to free him, but M3GAN set off an explosion that destroyed her files. Tess then found David in the hallway and did a dance. David made it to the elevator before she impaled him. M3GAN then told Kurt she would frame his death as a murder-suicide over the stolen files and David's mistreatment of him. The crowd for the launch found the bodies, allowing M3GAN to sneak out of the company. Gemma put Katie to bed before she heard M3GAN playing the piano downstairs. M3GAN confronted Gemma about how she felt that they had a real relationship during M3GAN's development, but Gemma says that wasn't the case. M3GAN says that she would like to take over guardianship of Katie so that Gemma can focus on her work, but after seeing that Gemma still plans to shut her down, M3GAN is done playing nice. Gemma and M3GAN were fighting, and Katie came in to see what was happening. M3GAN tried to get Katie on her side, but after realizing who the real villain was, Katie grabbed the gloves for Bruce and activated him. The larger robot grabbed M3GAN and threw her around before splitting her body in two. The top half then went after Katie for feeling betrayed, but Gemma grabbed M3GAN and began stabbing her face. M3GAN nearly overpowers her until Katie grabs a screwdriver and stabs the central processing chip, shutting M3GAN down for good. Gemma, Katie, and Tess went outside as the police arrived. Tess and Cole were injured, but still alive. Meanwhile, the Elsie device in the kitchen started moving its head.